Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Ask Coach V. So excited to be here with all of you. Welcome again. And here with me, the wonderful, brilliant Coach Ivon Martin. Hello, Coach.
Hey, Coach, and hey, everyone. Welcome. We have a great episode today with some great questions, right, Coach?
Oh, super excited. I love doing this with you. Great energy. We get to provide value and share some great contribution and answer some great questions. So I'm excited. So what you got there for me? Let's go.
Yeah, let's jump into it. So for those of you joining us for the first time, this is Ask Coach V, and it's a show where we do exactly what the title says. We ask Coach V. We go out there and we find questions that agents are asking on social media, on the internet, wherever, and we take one of these questions and I bring it here for Coach V to talk about, answer, reflect on, give advice on. Okay, so she hasn't seen the questions yet. They're new, they're fresh for her, but this is your opportunity to see a veteran agent and coach tackle some issues that agents are facing right now. So I have two great ones chosen for you, Coach. Why don't we go ahead and jump right into it? You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right. So I'm going to start with the first one here, and I know that it's going to be a good one. I'll put it up on the screen so everyone can see it.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. So here's our first question. I saw this posted in a Facebook group for agents. So I'll go ahead and read it. I cut out the person and just put their question. They said, love my broker, but he doesn't give me any leads. I feel useless having nothing to do all day. What teams and brokers give leads? So I loved this question, Coach, because I think it's such a good conversation starter. So before I say anything about what I think about it, why don't you jump in? So here we have an agent saying he likes his broker, but because his broker doesn't give him leads, he has nothing to do all day. What do you think about this question? What do you have to say here?
Well, first of all, I'm glad you love your broker. Now, Coach Yvonne, I come to the realization too that some of those questions that people put in the group right now is just to kind of ignite conversation and maybe see what people are saying. And because, come on, this can be a little crazy, right? So do you want to be a leader, a fantastic salesperson? Or do you want to be a victim? Oh, and please, I'll say this with a lot of respect. I'll say with a lot of respect, but let's be real, people. We're not here to be waiting like a bird, a baby bird waiting for the mother or the papa bird to give us the leads and the stuff. So for you who say that, or maybe someone here who's a little lost and doesn't know what to do, there's so many things you can do to generate leads, to convert leads, to build your personal brand, right, Coach?
Yeah, so it sounds like maybe, Coach, the question, because the question they really asked was, they said, I feel useless because my broker doesn't give me leads, and so I have nothing to do all day. What other broker should I go to? But maybe the question they should be asking is, what should I be doing all day? Right?
Exactly. Great,
So
great
what
frame.
advice would you give to an agent that feels like, like they don't know what to do because they don't have leads handed to them?
Yeah, and it's so good the way you reframe it, because it's true. There's actually several questions here, right? What do I do? I don't know what to do. I feel useless. Second is, do I need another broker? But seems to me, if you like your broker, first of all, make sure you talk to your broker about anything else that you are missing. But leads, he or she should be helping you to understand the process and how to generate leads. And by the way, that's why you want to have a coach. And I'm not just saying this because I am a coach. I'm saying this, you're never going to get the level of service, training, expertise, coaching from a broker than you get from a coach. But here, let's go here. And by the way, that's what I talked about today in my post on Facebook. If you follow me on Facebook, you can read that. I said, wherever you go, there you are. Wherever you go, you take yourself along with you. So the reality is success starts with us, with you. No broker, no company, no market is going to provide you the success. You have to look inside and say, okay, what's stopping me from having leads? What can I do today to get appointments? So you're right on the money. You were asking the wrong question. The question is not what team should I go, what city or company should I go, what broker should I do? The question is, how can I get leads today? How can I set an appointment today? And who can teach me how to convert those leads? Because again, if you get the leads and you set an appointment, but you don't know how to build connection, build trust, show up strong, and ask for the appointment with elegance and skills, you're not going to get anyways. Makes sense, Coach.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because two things come to mind for me. I talk to a lot of agents every day. So do you, coach. And one of the things I always ask them, and when I thought of this question, and when you think of this question maybe as an outsider, it seems like the answer should be obvious, but most agents kind of struggle to answer this question. And the question I'm talking about is agents, I'll talk to them about how their business is doing and what they're doing. And then I'll ask them, what are you doing every day to generate business? Like, what are you actually doing every day to get your next deal, to generate business? And most agents really struggle to give a clear answer. They do, I do a little of this or maybe a little of that. Very few people have like a, every day I'm doing X, Y, and Z. Every week I'm doing this. Every month I'm doing this. Every quarter I'm doing this to find my next deal.
Yeah.
And that is really the mentality that I see from this post of this agent. And who knows, how new they are, to probably pretty new still if they're thinking that way. But really, it's the most important thing from the broker is not just feeding you leads. It's support, it's training, it's being there to answer questions. So the leads are going to come from the agent. Of course they can hire services and marketing and all these things, but that's just one aspect of the business.
Exactly. Coach, you're so right on the money. And the reality is there can be many reasons, like you said. Now, the thing is, it can be lack of maturity, lack of business maturity. It can be also of self-realized maturity, and also lack of awareness. Because the reality is, when people say things like this, Coach, right away I know they don't have goals set, specific and clear. I'm going to sell 2 homes a month, and this is my my lead sources, and this is how many appointments I'm going to set per week, per day. So they don't have goals. Second, they don't have systems to generate, and they're not treating this business as a business. They are being reactive. They're waking up and let me see what my broker has for me today. Let me see what's going to happen in social media today. Can you imagine? Guys, listen, all of
Coach,
you.
it reminds me of,
Go ahead.
I don't know if it was last week or a couple weeks ago, we were talking with our clients in our VIP skills training, I believe it was. And you were telling them that, look, you're not an order taker, right? You're not sitting around waiting to take an order and fill out that order, right? It's not fast food where, okay, 2 double cheeseburgers, go get the double cheeseburgers. Like, people, we need to be out here procuring business and going after it and doing our thing. So I think that's the shift here, right? So for any, young agent or maybe veteran agent who is relearning or re-engaging or wants to reignite your business, it's definitely not about, what should I be doing all day if they're not giving me leads? It's how can I go out and generate those leads?
Exactly. How can I create? That's the mentality. You see, that's why the top producers, they're going to win. They're going to succeed and be the top producers in any market, because they're not passive waiting for the market, for the economy, for the broker, for someone to call them. They're not order takers. They are procuring, the right word you said. They are creating opportunity. They are shaking the listing trees every day, shaking the buyers tree every day through social media, to drop flyers, to calling their database and introducing themselves, to texting some people. They are creating opportunities. So listen, all of you guys, you are the creator. Every day we have to decide who's going to be the one I'm going to help today. I think it's Grant Cardone, who has a funny thing. I read some of his books. He's funny. I think he has a saying that he said one of his videos, who got my money?
I've seen that one. Yeah.
Who got my money?
Exactly. Right. And it's like, for the agents that are wondering, okay, you're saying go create leads. How do you do that? Guys, that's when it comes down to, what are your lead sources? And a lead source is what? It's a line of business where you generate leads. And how do you do that? Ultimately, conversations and engagement, right? So how can you start conversations? How can you engage with people? So we know your database has to be number one. We know you can do open houses. We know you can farm. You can do online leads. You can do social media. There's so many different avenues for agents to generate leads. So if you're that agent saying, my broker's not giving me leads, what am I supposed to do all day? Let's make sure we decide, what are our lead sources going to be? Let's start putting a plan together for each one and going after it.
Yes, get your cute little ass out of the house, out of the bed, and go do the things. Because some of them I may say, but coach, Vanda, is easy for you. I don't have any money, or I don't know anybody. Ladies and gentlemen, if you remember my story, I started in a new city, new market, brand new, no money, living a rental, 1,200 square feet, with 2 kids under 6 years old. My husband, just regular job, and struggling. no money, broken English, new town. I didn't know anybody. But what I had was hunger, drive, and determination to win. So I needed to create opportunities. I needed to build my database so I can have numbers to call. So what I did, lots of open house. Lots of open house. What else I did? Drop flyers in the areas I wanted to grow my business, including my farm. And then networking. Go out there. Go talk to people. Everyone you have in your phone is an opportunity. Maybe they're not ready today to buy or sell or invest, but they know someone who might be. And if you take your mentality, this, what is it for me? Who's going to give me? And you say, I'm going to create, I'm going to find people to show value. You do a video, you put out your platforms, you text 10 people, you don't knock some houses today. Guys, get your ass in gear. 50% of success is showing up, right, Coach Ivon?
Exactly. And all right. I think we answered that question fantastically. And I didn't stick around to read the comments. I saw that there were like 100. So I hope some good veteran agents out there told that agent that, hey, it's not on the broker, it's on you. Yeah. So let's go to our next one.
One more thing, Coach, one more thing. Just one more thing. Just remember, you can decide if you're going to embrace these excuses. I cannot do that. I don't have time. You don't know my story. You don't know my market. Or if you're going to embrace the action. So just remember, you're going to lead, rise up and lead and take action, or you're going to embrace the skills and become a victim. So be the leader, go find those opportunities.
All right, so let's go to this next one. So this next one, it's more of a comment and a story, but I think it leads to a good question and it leads to a good talking point. So I'll go ahead and share my screen again and we'll read this one. I saw an agent post this one on social media and I thought,
by the way, Coach, I love that you take the time to take the picture and show the screen because it makes so much real. I love it. Thank you for that.
So this one, I'll just go ahead and read it. So the buyer's mom showed up at the home inspection today. So much unnecessary stress and anxiety placed on her daughter purchasing the home. Contract requested to be voided shortly after. How did everyone else's day go? Tell me your good news. Okay, so this is obviously an agent venting, right? They had a tough situation. They had a parent show up and they feel in their mind, you know, that parent made the deal fall apart. So ultimately, this leads me to the question of, you know, how do you deal with situations like this, Coach, where you have, you know, your client and then you have outside influences? I don't know if it's a cousin that they listen to or a brother or a parent, you know, what could this agent done and this agent have done? And do you have any advice for them?
I can appreciate that. Great question. And by the way, I understand the sentiment and it's not easy to lose a deal. And now, so whoever posts this, if you're listening or someone in the same situation, just remember, it's going to happen. If you sell a lot of homes, it's going to happen. Like me, I sold over 1,000 homes. I've seen it all. People dying in the middle, deal falling apart, and you resuscitate. So many things can happen. So right away, understand this is part of the process. Say part of the process. Now, who is the buyer? It can be many reasons here. First of all, remember, sometimes I'm buying.
Yeah, Coach, let me just jump in and say that, like, look, guys, for those of you watching, ultimately, we don't know exactly why it fell apart. Exactly. We don't know all the details. We don't know the story. We don't know anything behind. So what we're going to give you here, and what Coach V is about to get into, is some general advice for this type of situation, right? Because remember, every deal is unique and we don't have all the info here.
We don't have all the information. So I can only hope. I can only hope that you did a buyer's presentation where you build the value, where you know the priorities, the needs and wants, who is helping to make a decision, who is part of the process, and land, you know, build your value and ask all the important, relevant questions, because then you know if they are really the full buyer or there's mom and dad helping them to buy the home. But the most important thing is mom showed up. It's not a bad deal. Because remember, if a mom mentions something or she's worried about something that's going to create a problem for them or for the daughter or for the house, whatever it is, if the deal's going to fall apart, guys and girls, remember this. If it's going to fall apart, it's better to fall apart in the beginning of the contract than in the end. But let's go back here. I don't know who the mother is, but evidently it's someone of influence. So you right away got to learn this. There's a lesson here. Rejection has a lesson. Failure, there's a lesson. The gift here, did I know well about my buyer? Is the mother one of the buyers as well? Is she's giving money because she's giving even $10,000, she's part of the buyer process. Also, did I clarify that the inspection is for safety and hazard, not for remodeling, not for cosmetics? So I don't know the details. All I can say is prepare, educate, investigate, pre-qualify modules, know who is your buyers and sellers, and go find out what is the cause, why are they backing out of the deal? Because maybe something that is irrelevant. Maybe it was lack of knowledge. So we don't know the details, right, Coach Ivon?
Exactly. So let's just give some general help here, guys. The first thing is, like Coach V said, pre-qualify really well. And
Yeah.
pre-qualify doesn't mean, a letter from the bank saying you can buy a house. Pre-qualify means what's their motivation, their timing, what's important for them, who are the other decision makers involved. I mean, if you ask that question, they might say, oh, it's just me, but I run everything by my mom. Or, oh, my mom is helping me buy, right?
Yeah.
And the more you find out about that stuff, I will say this. If you think that there is someone else that is, even if they're not putting money, but they're putting their opinion in, and their opinion is very important to the person, involve them as soon as
As soon as
possible.
possible.
Get them in the mix, talk to them. From reading this, it sounded like kind of a surprise. She just showed up at the inspection, but who knows, right? So all we can say is, if you think there's another decision maker, even if they're not, buying the home, involve them as soon as possible. Make sure that you're dealing with both of them, because if you sit there and have this presentation like Coach V talked about with, the daughter, but then she goes and takes it to the mom, and the mom wasn't there, and now they're playing telephone, and the mom hears something she doesn't like and says to the daughter, do this or do that, you're in a tough situation, right? So we got to involve people right away.
Yeah.
So
That's what.
what's a good way, Coach? I just want to make sure they get some good tools here. What's a good way if you have a client like this and you find out that, okay, she's running everything by her mom? What's a good way for you to get the mom involved early?
Very nice. Now, Coach, I want to go back just a bit. Yeah, you got to get the mom involved, or the dad or the uncle, Victor, as soon as possible. But I want to make sure that you are asking questions like this during your bio presentation, your beautiful officially bio presentation. Hey, Ivon, is there anything I should know when you buy the home? Is there anything that you're not willing to compromise? Is anybody else helping you to make the decision? You see, you gotta go deep, everyone, not shallow. You gotta go deep, because if they need, oh, you know what the down payment. I know you're gonna go talk to my lender. You have a lender, but you're gonna check my lender. But let me ask you: is it down payment here, or is it cash, or is money? No, my dad is giving to me. You gotta know that. And by the way, when you go show home, you asking, is anybody should see the home too? So now you know. You gotta know more than they know themselves about the house, what they want. So now they know that mom is involved. At least, you know what, I want to run by my mom. You say, great, here's the script, right? I tell you, you say, great, Yvonne, listen, what I know is you want to make sure you run everything but your mom, and your mom wants to be part of the process, and her opinion matters. So instead of I tell you and you tell your mom, instead of this hearsay, she said, he said, why don't we do this? Let's have a meeting together, you and I and your mom. This way I can clearly, specifically explain to her the process, what should be aware, what can happen, what can go wrong or bad or good. This way she can ask me questions direct, and I can save time, and we can go over during the inspection, during the process. Can we do that? In this case, they already have it in contract. So yeah, you say, before we go do the home inspection, by the way, I have a question for this person, Coach Ivon. Did you prepare and explain what is the home inspection is all about? You see,
Right.
they
Setting
don't
expectations are really important, right? And when we don't set expectations, when we don't tell them, look, Mrs. Buyer, this is what's going to happen once we get to this point of the contract. This is how the inspection is going to go. Here's what can happen. Best case, most likely case, worst case, what that means to you. If you don't do that, guys, they make their own expectations in their head that might be based on nothing, right? And when they get there and those expectations aren't met, they're unhappy, right? So maybe in her head, the expectation was everything was going to be 100% perfect, and this was going to be this, and that was going to be that. And when it wasn't that, she feels like she was misled, even though it was her own expectation that she created, right? But that's why it's so important that we set those expectations.
Exactly. You gotta set expectations. Otherwise, they create hallucination, it's explosion, and you lose the business, extra stress. Now, here's another thing I want you to remind all of you guys are going through this process. And please understand, strategy matters. So now before they are even cancel the contract, ask them, hey, Vanda, I was curious, what specifically made you, of course, you probably went over the report, you probably went over the problems, but ask them the question, what specifically is the reason you guys are backing out? If it's not something like really foundational, the house is falling apart, ask them one of the patterns that we teach you in VIP and 101. If they do X, you do Y. Ask them, hey, let me ask you, Joanna, if by any chance, even though it's not cosmetic, it's not, excuse me, even though it's not safety hazard, it's a little more of remodeling, you think it's more work than you can do, whatever it is. let me ask you, by any chance, if the seller do some of the repairs or willing to give you a credit for this or that, would you continue with the purchase? So you see, skill. So again,
Right.
you
Be,
can
be relentless with it,
be
right? Take them
relentless.
through it, remind them of their motivation, their timing, ask them if it's really worth it to miss out on this home. There's a lot that you can still do here. And this agent hopefully is not just going to simply say, okay, done, and is going to try to, talk them through it because they like the home, right? There was a reason that they're in contract. So
Yeah.
make sure that you help them to see clearly, because sometimes, especially if you have an outside person like the mother who maybe doesn't know everything but feels like she just wants the best for her daughter, and she might fixate on something that she's really doing harm. So make sure you show up as the expert and talk to both of them.
So true. I'll add something before we finish. I just wanted to pay attention, pay very close attention. I'm not asking you to convince or push anyone to do something that is not good for them. That's when you doing a dishonest, when you do a disservice, and when you have commission breath. What I'm asking you is be honest. If the house is good for them, if it's a good movement decision for them, and if it makes sense, help them to see with the skills, elegance, and grace. But if it's not, yeah, be happy. Say, you know what, John, it's not the best one for you because yeah, this is going to cause a big problem. We don't have the money, we don't have the capacity to take care of it. Let's go find another home. And many times, because I know, because I sold a lot of homes, many times happens you find a better home even for a better price, higher price for you as well, and a better home for them. So don't be attached to the outcome. Do your very, very best. Disclose, do what's best for them. I am relentless, Coach Ivon. I'm relentless and sell them the idea and help them to make decisions based on facts and reality. But I'm always going to be truthful and I'm always going to be honest. So,
and that's the ticket, right? You're relentless on helping them do what's best for them. And if you truly
yes.
believe that what's best for them is to not walk away from that home because of whatever thing the mother got upset about or convinced the daughter about, then make sure you don't let them walk away without seeing the options and seeing what it means.
Yes.
Again, we're not trying to force anyone into anything, but make sure you do your part. So,
Yeah.
Coach, I think we handled that one really well. In short, guys, remember, involve all the decision makers as soon as possible. Talk with all of them together. Make sure you set expectations. And also, I'll just give a quick reminder before Coach V closes this out. Like Coach V said in the beginning, some deals are going to fall apart. Sometimes things are going to happen. Sometimes someone is going to come in and change their mind or do something. You can't win them all. You can't save them all. But you just do your best. And like you said, Coach, release that attachment to the outcome.
Yes. Hey, listen, to all of you that listen to the questions, just remember, we are great salespeople. Our job is to educate, prepare, give options, help them to make the right decision with skills. And we have to take full responsibility for our business, for our result with the things we do or don't do and how we show up. So, by the way, I hope you enjoy this. Do me a big favor because it will mean the world to me. Subscribe for our channel if you have not done so, and share this with someone. You know what? I cannot tell you how many agents are out there lost, defeated, feeling lonely in this lonely business because if they don't have support in the office and a great community. Share this because we will never let you, without encouragement, we will never let you making mistakes because we are here for you, right, Coach?
Exactly, guys. So we're going to do more of these. As you know, we're always
Yeah.
sharing great stuff. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Right,
Yeah.
Coach?
Yeah, and follow us everywhere because we always provide you the best. So thank you for being here, Coach Vaughn. I love you. Thank you for your brilliance, and I see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.